Okay, we will start with few prayers before we start on this beautiful journey of studying Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukum Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Wonderful. Thank you, Momita Mata, for joining. Thank you, Srikant Prabhu, for joining. Once again, thank you. Very grateful for joining. Before I start, I wanted to actually share a beautiful video. So let me go ahead and share that screen. Before I do that, let me cast that on the screen. Come on. Okay. Okay, beautiful. I will go here. Before I do that, let me share my screen. Oh, Krishna, that's on there. Give me 1 second. Okay. Oops, did I move? No. Sorry, I'm just trying to connect with the TV. Yeah, got it back. I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to play a small.
When we follow our heart, we're aspiring for something that's deeply meaningful and fulfilling in life. And when it comes to that point where we really want to make very deep and substantial spiritual progress, then following our heart means accepting, submitting ourselves before the will of God, which is coming through His holy words in the scriptures, which is coming through saintly persons, which is coming through the Guru. When our heart wants to please the Lord in that way, when our heart wants to become humble and pure through the guidance and the grace of Guru in life, then that act of surrender is the perfection of following our hearts. When we come to that step. In other words, what is the heart, what is the whimsical mind? We have to differentiate what really does my heart want and how to reach there, not just whatever my mind wants.
This video, why I wanted to start sharing, connecting the dots back from chapter 1 And then we see in the world today, there is always a struggle between understanding whether it's a voice of the heart or whether it's a voice of the mind. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the same mind is your greatest friend and the same mind is your greatest enemy. For all of us, or most of us, the mind is our greatest enemy. And this is a very important point. We see in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is initially, when he is seeing his relatives, his loved ones just across in the battlefield to fight with them, he is trying to use his mind to solve his problems. What should I do in this situation? And he tries to solve that problem, but he's not able to solve the problem. And the reality of life is that there are certain junctions in our life where you are completely helpless, irrelevant of however knowledge we have, irrelevant of however resources, however number of resources we may have, we realize we are utterly helpless. And that is a time we are very susceptible to outside environment because we don't know how to solve the problem. Today, most of the suicide ratio goes up. For what reason? Because they do not know how to handle the situation. It's not that they did not try anything, they tried everything. And we see few months back we spoke about greatest Bollywood actors and actresses. We talked about that Meena Kumari, if you remember, ultimate success, but they did not know how to solve the problem of the mind. And this is what Arjuna is portraying, and that's what happened in chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 2, Krishna spoke about the science of the soul, understanding we are not the body, we are the soul. In our last class on Karma Yoga, we specifically mentioned about the hierarchy about sense objects, above that the senses, then the mind, then the intelligence and ego. Nobody knows there is an intelligence above the mind. And when the intelligence is trained properly, it can guide the mind properly. Like when we write software programs, if they are written properly, then the output will be correct. But if I haven't written the program correctly, I do not know what will be the response from that thing. And that's the ultimate reality of this world. So when we talk about chapter 3, which is specifically mentioning about karma yoga, one of the biggest challenge in not understanding Bhagavad Gita is the karma yoga. Because people borrow just one part of the word saying that karmani vadikare se. I'm entitled to work is worship. That's the term which is coined from that misunderstanding. Oh, you should work hard. That's what Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita. That's not what Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita. So what we started, if I come back to the presentation, and I'm just going to share that. Give me 1 second, my menu went that side, so I'll open that. And then go back to chapter 3. Let's see, where does it go? Can you see presentation now? Not yet. Okay, give me a second. Where did that go? Maybe I'll unshare my screen. Or it did? Okay, thank you. Let me run this. Sorry, I just want to make sure. Is it showing? Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. And I'm going to share that in Chrome also, which I lost again. So give me 1 second. I'll go back to Chrome window and go ahead and share that one. Okay, I'm going to unshare my screen here, and I'm going to go ahead and share my PowerPoint. Radhe, I don't know where. Sorry, my screen is playing with me today. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, but the challenge is that my Chrome is gone. Okay, I'll share that now. Hopefully, it will come. Okay, I think. Can you all see the PowerPoint now?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. So, Krishna. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm just going to stop mirror again and then do that. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Technology is good as long as it works. Otherwise, it's a problem. Change. Extended screen. Did it come? I have to close this one. Okay. Let's try this. Did it come now? Okay. Okay, I got this also. I'm just going to go ahead and share the PowerPoint presentation. Just again, making sure you online. Can you see me? Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Wonderful, thank you. So, Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, which is specifically talking about Karma Yoga. Just to summarize what we discussed last week, chapter 3 beginning is Arjuna is asked, Hare Krishna, welcome, Prabhu. In person is very helpful. Thank you so much. I'm going to wear my glasses so that I can see the screen as well. It's very tiny for me. So, Arjuna was lamenting in chapter 1 and chapter 2. Krishna is instructing Arjuna, and that's what we discussed. In chapter 2, we have Sankhya Yoga, and we talked about Karma Yoga, we Nishkam Karma Yoga, and symptoms of self realized souls we covered last week. Now, in chapter 2, text 1 and 2, Arjuna's confusion is whether he should renounce or he is performing an action. Because what he was thinking is Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga or um, renunciation are two different paths. So he's thinking, oh, you know what, anyhow, I didn't want to fight, so let me go to the forest and I have nothing to do with that. And that's where the confusion is whether he should renounce or whether he should get an action. From chapter 3, text 3 to text 9, Krishna is specifically talking about Nishkama Karma Yoga is better than Jnana for Arjuna. And we cover 1 to 3 last week, and now we are going to cover. I'm yet to put that. We talked about Karma Yoga, work is recommended. We covered that if wisdom is superior to work, why do you want me to engage in fighting this terrible war? Wisdom, according to Arjuna, is renunciation. So I'll go knowledge, I don't have anything to do with that. And now Arjuna is asking, your contradictory instructions are confusing. Please describe a single path for achieving the highest good. Are you all with me? Beautiful. So we covered up to chapter verse 3, which is previously explained. There are two paths in this world: path of intellectual analysis, which is Jnana Yoga, and path of active service. So what is the intellectual analysis of the Jnana Yoga? And there are again various processes in that we will cover. I'm going to come to this. Give me 1 second. So this is what we covered: chapter 1, text 2, and text 3 we covered here. And we gave an example about it is better in Karma Yoga to perform activities and offer. You can perform every activity which you are performing, taking care of your household affairs, taking care of your family, taking care of your job, but try to dovetail your lifestyle in a such a way that you have a dedicated time to actually practice spirituality, right? So when we talk about the four quadrants, which is physical quotient, mental quotient, spiritual quotient, and what is last one, emotional quotient. So these are the four quotients which actually make your life wholesome. And if any of these parts are imbalanced, it creates a problem. For an example, doing an exercise. If we are not exercising, that's a physical quotient. Then it affects our health. Same with relationship, which is emotional management, taking care of relationship, talking to family members, and all that's very important. But what is the most important part, which is neglected by people, is spiritual quotient, and that is what is being spoken here. So coming back on this one, we covered briefly. We talked about in Bhagavad Gita 2.39, Krishna described two classes of men. You can all see that. Is that good? Yeah. So Lord Krishna in 2.39 in chapter 2, he described two classes of men trying to realize self. There are two, which is Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga. That is what was covered in 2.39. Now, what is the difference between Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga? The Sankhya Yoga people, they follow the process of neti neti, which means if I want to find out what is the source of our existence, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. So try to speculate, spend some time in figuring out, oh, not this one. Then you go to the next level. But the time is very short for all of us, and that's the problem, right? Someone tells you, here is the nose, you want to find out yourself. Oh, maybe then this is a nose, this is a nose, which we talked about that. Or you try to go like this. And then they acquire, after many lifetime, at last they understand Vasudeva Sarvamiti, which means my purpose of life is to take shelter of Krishna, right? Which is, I gave an example about if I want to go to the 100th floor of the hotel, you can definitely go by staircase or you can use an elevator. Destination is still the same, but it's the time which makes a difference, right? So that's what is Nishkama Karma Yoga. So you see, Nishkama Karma Yoga, there is a very beautiful one. Bhaja Hure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Today, the world is fearful of so many aspects which we cannot control. But when you take shelter of Mukunda, when you take shelter of Krishna, he takes away all that fear. That is what is the devotees are purifying their mind like lotus in the muddy pool of water. Though it is, you see that beautiful lotus, around that it's not a great place to be, but it's so beautiful within that the water doesn't touch it. Or even if the water drops, it doesn't stay there, it just gets out of it. And for Gyanis, it takes many, many lifetime, but Bhakta can get it very quickly. Right now, there may be people performing tapasya on Himalayas to actually attain the same goal, and you are comfortably sitting here and reading the Bhagavad Gita. Very interesting. The definition here is much more sublime than the Gyanis who are actually trying to tolerate the material difficulties there. Like imagine your situation being in this winter. If you don't wear a jacket, how would you feel? And if you see Vishwamitra's example, he would be underwater in Himalayas. Not that he's wearing jacket and all that stuff inside that. Very hard, very difficult. That's the process of other processes versus practicing bhakti yoga. So that is what is being spoken here. So what you see on karma yoga, you try to compare between the spirit and then Nishkam Karma Yoga, you work in Krishna consciousness. What does it do? It releases you from the bondage of cycle of birth and death. Because we are continuously taking the birth and death, birth and death, birth and death. And that's the only way to get out of the cycle of birth and death. And ultimately, where are you reaching? You are reaching to the ultimate goal of life, which is Krishna. Everyone is with me. We covered this slide before. Just wanted to bring it quickly. Now let's talk about few more examples or more arrange or systematic way of understanding between Sankhya Yoga and Buddhi Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is the indirect path, like I mentioned before. You are going to the same floor, but you are using elevator or you are using the staircase. And what is Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness? Is the process of directly connecting the level of our activity of karma for the purpose of Krishna consciousness. What is Krishna consciousness? Today, we are conscious of body. We are conscious of our material position. But when you become conscious of Krishna, that is Krishna consciousness. Very simple. Right? The second one is dependence on personal endeavor. We give an example about a cat carrying a kitten versus a monkey carrying the cub. What's the difference? Did we cover that before? A cat carrying a kitten in her mouth, right? And the monkey carrying a child in his arms. What's the difference? Okay. Okay. Very nice. Any other points? Am I making sense? You see a cat carrying a kitten. She actually carries the kitten in her mouth. And monkey, when he jumps from one tree to another tree, the child holds to the mother. Right?
Oh, so I can tell you.
Please.
So the cat is holding the kitten
Hmm.
with the mouth, which means it is saving the kitten, making sure that it never falls off.
Very nice.
A monkey is expecting the baby to hold.
Very good. Thank you. Very nice. All these points are wonderful. There is a difference between both of them. Though the child is connected to the mother, which is great, definitely relief that it's not connected to a wrong source. But the difference is that when you talk about the Sankhya Yoga, you think about a baby monkey holding the lap of a mother. What does it mean? Because I am relying on my own strength, I may fall down, like you mentioned about. But the second example, which we are talking about, the Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, because you are under the shelter of Krishna. So even if you get deviate away like a Google map, it says go on I-275 for 8 miles, but you take a 8-mile exit. Or sorry, I-96, whatever it is, right? So I-96, you take exit and you deviated from the path, but Google map reroutes you. Right? What does it mean? That even if you take a detour, Buddhi Yoga, Krishna makes sure you are taken care of. Versus Sankhya Yoga, which is completely relying on your own effort. You're with me so far? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I understood what you're saying, but I feel that we got to have a mix of everything, a balance. It's not just follow one path.
beautiful. Yes,
Because you got to apply all the principles so that you kind of understand from Sankhya Yoga, kind of understanding what that existence is, what's the relationship between the human life or the energy form. Because here Sankhya Yoga also we talk about consciousness, we talk about body and spirit. And
very
that's in the
nice. Yes,
conscious.
yes,
And here also the connecting path everywhere is consciousness. I
yes.
think you got to have a balance, a mix of everything.
Very
on one
good.
path.
Very good. You brought up a good point. If you're just only applying Sankhya Yoga without having a blend of Bhakti Yoga, you are on your own. If anything fails, you are responsible for that. Right now, what we are trying to do is we are practicing Bhakti Yoga along with the knowledge of Sankhya Yoga, bringing that in. So, what is a primary stream? Primary stream is not Sankhya Yoga. Primary stream is Bhakti Yoga. We are trying to bring the knowledge so that we can discriminate what is right and what is wrong. You're with me so far now? Connects that, right? So that's the other point. And the third one is unsure of success. We gave an example about Vishwamitra Muni. He did tapasya for many, many years. What happened? He had to again restart because Menaka came in. You remember that part time, right? So unsure of success, there is a surety of success. The fourth one is initial purification required by prescribed duty. And then we will cover that part further down. When we talk about prescribed duty, based on the varna or based on the ashram, which is kind of not clear today's age, either you can be a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, not by birth, but based on your mindset. And you will understand based on that whether I'm Brahmanical more or whether I'm a Kshatriya, whether I'm Vaishya or Shudra, based on the mentality. We will talk about that.
Can you expand on what exactly when we say Krishna consciousness? What exactly do we mean?
You do everything you are doing, but as an offering to Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. For an example, I work. Everyone works. What's the difference is I work for Krishna. Now, what is the meaning of work for Krishna? I'm doing it as a duty for Krishna versus I'm doing it for myself. Everyone goes to work. Duryodhana is also fighting. Arjuna is also fighting. Both are doing the same work. But there is a difference. What is the difference? The difference is in consciousness. Arjuna is doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. Duryodhana is doing for his selfish motive. So when I'm working, thinking that I'll earn that salary, use that money to enjoy my senses, enjoy my life, take care of my family, then that's the mentality of I, me, and mine. That's not, there is no Krishna involved there. But I work as a duty so that I can take care of my life, I can take care of my family, bringing on a common goal that I want to attain Krishna. Why do I want to attain Krishna? One may say, oh, everything is so great in this life. Yes, after death, you will again start all over again. From the birth, again you struggle, you go again die, and you again start all over again and again. What's the point? So I have to get out of the cycle of birth and death. Now, when I want to get out of the cycle of birth and death, there has to be, where do I go after the death? I have to figure that out. So there are multiple ways. One is you become a Jnani, you acquire the knowledge, and you go to Brahman Jyoti. Brahman Jyoti is you are alone, nobody is around you, you figure out yourself. Of course, you are out of the cycle of birth and death, but there is no service, there is no enjoyment, there is no social life. And the other path is Bhakti Yoga, which is basically you go in Krishna's abode or any of his. For an example, if one has connection with Lord Ram, he is attached to Lord Ram, then he goes to Ayodhya in spiritual world, not in material world. And you practice and you perform devotional service, serving Krishna, serving Lord Ram, serving Lord Nrsimhadev. So that's what Krishna consciousness is all about. Did I make it clear, Mataji?
Yeah. I mean, from the Christianity, Islam, they have that version of there is commandments, you follow your
Yes,
life,
yes.
and then there is heavenly where you have all luxuries and everything. But that's not how Hinduism or Hindu faith has been, right? Hindu faith has been like more of seeking the truth, understanding yourself, and then where you call what you call Brahman Jyoti is what do you say? Connecting back to that main source or main energy, where there is no luxury or there is no nothing. There is calmness. There is no
Correct.
I don't know how do you say that.
No, I understood. Go ahead. Yeah.
So we don't have that version of at least that's how my understanding of Hinduism is. We don't have that version of like other religions where you're going to go and have a luxurious life or a beautiful life. That's not what it is about for us.
So the current version of Christianity or what we see outside is a manipulated one. The real purpose of life is to go back to God. That's the common goal for all the religious principle.
Yeah, heaven or hell, that's what everybody calls
They
it.
call it
Yeah.
as heaven, we call it a spiritual world, but ultimately the point of contact is I want to go and serve God. That's the about any religion. Now, when you talk about when Brahman Jyoti, I confused you more, I'm sorry about it. There is a spiritual pleasure and there is all facility and heavenly pleasure which is there in spiritual world also. But the difference is that you are doing all these activity for pleasure of serving Krishna and you automatically drive happiness. For an example, for a mother to cook for the child, what is her happiness? Not in eating. Her happiness is if my child likes it, that gives me a greatest joy. Now, one may say, how do you get a pleasure? Because you are not enjoying, it's the child enjoying, but mother gets the happiness. Similar way, when we serve Krishna, though our intention is to serve Krishna, to make him enjoyer, but we also enjoy in the whole stream. Now, whatever is the manipulated version of they talk about heaven, hell, and all that stuff, it's a different story. And again, there are multiple diversions to that in terms of what Jesus Christ initially put in into Bible and what was manipulated on that part. Makes sense? So this is what the Sankhya Yoga and Buddhi Yoga is all about. And we will skip this slide, which is talking about. I'll quickly cover about interdependence. Both the yogas are now your point, Mataji, comes in. Are interdependent. A religion and philosophy. Religion without philosophy is sentiment. This is the biggest problem. We follow religion with the sentiment. That's not true. Or sometimes fanaticism. While philosophy without religion is a mental speculation. Right? If you do not have principles, you follow your own philosophy, that is mental speculation. I just do whatever I like. That's also a problem. So it is one nishtha only, that one steadiness has two types: jnana engaged in jnana yoga or yogi engaged in karma yoga. These are the two people who are we talking about in chapter 3. And we referred from 2.55, and then example of Sanaka attained the purification through jnana. So there are various people who attain perfection through jnana, and there are various people who attain perfection through karma. Not that they did not attain, but it took some time for them. For an example, in the center you see Janak Maharaj. Janak Maharaj practiced karma yoga. Janak Maharaj practiced karma yoga. He perfected and achieved the goal with karma yoga. Right? But four Kumaras who are sons of Brahma, they attained the perfection by doing Jnana Yoga. You are all with me? Destination is there, but it depends on how long it takes and how perfectly you follows it. Not that the child falls down from the womb of or from the lap of the monkey falls down. No, as long as he's holding properly, it's good. But he's relying on his own effort versus the other one. So you have blend of both. That's what we talked about, right?
Even Mahabharata, we take Bhagavad Gita, right?
Hmm.
The whole premise of Bhagavad Gita starts with question and answers.
Hmm.
So Arjuna is asking, and Lord Krishna is answering.
Yes, very
So if
nice.
you look at it, basically he is dispensing the knowledge and then asking him to do the activity. So
Yes,
basically the mix of jnana yoga, karma yoga.
very
everything.
nice. Yes.
So he's kind of giving that, which means that you've got to have the knowledge, intelligence, and at the same time do your part of your
Yes, yes. And that is what was specifically mentioned. The religion without philosophy is sentimentalism.
Right.
So you need that philosophy. Otherwise, that if you follow religion my way or highway, that is what is happening in other religion, which I was briefly speaking about. Right? So karma is also yoga, since by that karma person is joined with purification of the heart, which gives rise to jnana. So what is that? Karma and jnana are the stepping stones. So karma comes before jnana. You perform activity, and which will be covered in today's verse. When you perform karma yoga, you get purified. You have a heart purified, and when you perform jnana after that, becomes easy.
It is like
Warm up.
you get trained and then do the job, or else on the
Correct.
job training.
On the job training. The other one is difficult because it takes time and you make mistakes versus the other one. Very nice example. So with that, I want to briefly cover to chapter 3, text 4. This is what we want to start with. Can we open Bhagavad Gita? Please. Sorry, I'm just being mindful of time. If I'm just running fast, so please feel free to stop me. Go ahead.
No. I wanted to say this because we definitely had 30 minutes of this, right? It's good. Actually. So the one thing I hear is if you are driving, someone else is sitting. They don't trust and still sit there. Their life is miserable. If they trust and sit there, It's very easy, right?
Hmm.
So that's one, right? Second is some of us were living here. We have one leg here, one leg in India. Also is confusing. Some people believe in God, and some people pray God. They don't believe in God. This is a really very confused mind. It's better to be one side. You stick to one side, which would probably help. I think believing is better, as I say. So yesterday I was listening to one of the message. They say that once you learn Bhagavad Gita, this is 7 families in your life will be very happy and prosperous. Whatever it is, they do really well.
I will in fact add on that and want to be very clear on that. If you perform devotional service, you perfect your life and go back to God, your 21 generations, let me repeat, 21 generations will go back to God. Now, sorry, I use go back to Godhead is in a loose term, not in a loose term, but I'm just speaking about that. And it's a term which is much more higher, because unless we realize I am struggling, we will never understand what is the purpose of going back to Godhead.
So the last one is once you learn Bhagavad Gita, they say that your face glows for others. Everybody comes to you, you behave differently from how you used to do it.
Oh, 100%.
You
100%.
change yourself completely.
Which is,
It's not just reading Bhagavad Gita, like a lot of people just recite without understanding the meaning.
yeah, 100%.
Even if you are not able to recite, if you understand the meaning and practice it, and that's what you're talking about.
The spirituality is about the transformation of heart, not about I will download the knowledge on you. I'm sorry. There is a lot. Even Chat GPT will recite the whole Bhagavad Gita for you. It's download of knowledge. I don't want download of knowledge. It should transform our heart. You wanted to add something?
So you mentioned the glow when somebody. So yeah, I also like heard somewhere like it's basically the sattva gun, which is identified as the prakash,
Yeah.
light, as if your body itself is filled with that light, prakash. So
Absolutely.
that whenever that means the sattva guna has grown much more than other two gunas.
Yeah.
So
After
that kind of
1 year of my practice on the
Very
Bhagavad
nice.
Gita, I listened to Bhagavad Gita for 6 months. The way I work, the way I deal with people completely changed. Completely.
Wonderful.
And I know that I made a lot of mistakes in my life. I corrected and I'm a different person altogether.
Beautiful. That is the whole idea of studying Bhagavad Gita. So we will recite text 4. Everyone online following along, Ashok Prabhu, I know this is your first session. Any comments here? All good? Okay, beautiful. We will read text 4. Na karmanam anaramban naishkarmyam purushosnute nacha sannyasana deva
Siddhim samadhi gati
siddhim
jagati.
samadhigacchati. Translation, please.
Not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection.
Very beautiful. Mataji connects back to your point, which you mentioned about this is very same point, right? What it is talking about, that we cannot get practice Jnana Yoga without actually being purified by our desires. What happens is, when you have any philosophy which is immature and you get to the next stage, you will struggle with the basics. For an example, a person goes directly work with calculus without understanding the basic arithmetic, he will struggle or she will struggle on that aspect. And this is what is being spoken about. The challenge with today's spirituality, why people do not want to, at least in Hinduism, because they see people who have been being a wrong example or performing in a different way. For an example, when I was a child, I used to hear one Swami used to give the class every morning in Atma channel on TV that used to come. Very beautifully narrate and very beautifully speak. "Oh, this is great." After a year, I saw him, he was jailed. Hare Krishna. Now, as a child, I have a wrong impression. I'm thinking about, it's better the regular people don't go to jail, but these spiritualists go to jail. How do I understand from that perspective? And this is the problem with practicing directly on Jnana without purifying our senses. When they actually leave their duties and go to that platform where they are not comfortable, that's where they struggle. For an example, I was just seeing Prabhuji was sharing a video. When you go on treadmill, you directly don't press 6, the speed. You start with 2, you go to 4, you feel comfortable, your body gets accustomed to that, and you go to 6. Like I started playing with my son, in summer I started playing soccer. And one day my thighs were really in a bad shape. So one of my friend came and told me, hey, you are not supposed to directly jump into the floor. You're supposed to do some warm up. Very important. Unless you purify your consciousness, you come to Jnana Yoga, the same Jnana. Why people misunderstand the rasa dance between Krishna and Srimati Radharani? Same thing happens here also, boys and girls. In pub also they do the same thing. Rasalila also do the same thing, which means I can also do. Problem. You went to a wrong platform without being purified, sufficiently purified to be that stage. So that's what this is talking about. We see there is a beautiful example. Why do not birds and animals for whom no action is religiously prescribed automatically get salvation? One may say, I will not perform any activity. I'll tell you, very important point. We get karma based on our actions. And I think, oh, action is a problem. Let me stop action altogether. You're with me so far? So in that case, Visheshta Tirtha Swami, he actually mentioned a very nice point. In that case, the birds and animals, they can go moksha, right? They are not performing any action from that perspective because they don't get karma with that part. But that's not the point, right? So automatically, so example is given, karmas chase us and the tree produces the seeds. Since they do not have either merit or sin, why should they not automatically be released from the chain of lives? And the example is given, it is only by a positive approach, by performing all actions enjoined on him, but desirelessly, that one can get released from the cycle of birth or death. So point is not to get away with the karma, which Arjuna is saying, I want to go to the forest, I don't want to perform any action. No, you cannot do that. You perform an action, but in a positive way. Now that's the whole idea about karma yoga. How to perform karma which connects to God. So far, we have understood the definition of karma is doing an activity. But now we are talking about doing an activity in connection with God. That's what the karma yoga is all about. So this is what we covered. And here there is a beautiful example. When one action is completed, 100 others crop up as a consequence of this, an endless chain of action and reaction. Because if you are not, like a lot of time there are Moni Babas who goes in the forest, who do not talk anything, but when the disciple come, they write on the slate. That's not Mauna is all about. Mauna is all about is when you are going through difficulty, when you do not need to speak, you don't speak. Today, people, at least for me, I see the meetings are half of the time. If you see the outcome of chat, whatever is the meeting notes, all nonsense stuff, right? Out of 1 hour meeting, you will have 15 minutes of or 20 minutes or 30 minutes of important discussion. Rest all what happened, I did this, I did that. Unnecessary using of tongue. Better to speak when needed. Important aspect which is important. When you want to speak, you speak about Krishna, think about that way. It is therefore foolish to think to avoid action and attaining liberation. So purification is compulsory for renouncing prescribed action. So if someone wants to come to the platform of Jnana, someone wants to actually understand this knowledge of spirituality, one has to actually have the purification of the heart. However, very interesting is, for bhakti, you don't need a purification. So when you are hungry, right, you get the food not only fulfills your hunger, but it also gives you nourishment. Bhakti is a process, you directly jump into the river and now get the karma and jnana along with bhakti when you practice that. Because karma and jnana are the byproducts of bhakti. Am I making sense? So when you perform bhakti, Even if you have a shorter period of time, crash course, they say learn this thing in 21 days or learn this thing in 7 days. Why do I need to know? Hey, I have to get onto a job, limited time. Same way, our life is very small. And when we take that small life, when we take the whole package of bhakti yoga, all this automatically comes on that way. So you don't have to work on purifying first and come to bhakti yoga. Like a lot of people say, oh, can I chant? But I did this and I did that. You chant, it will take care of everything else. Rather than people thinking about why people run away, or I have to live tea, I have to leave this, I have to leave this, I have to leave that. No, you continue what you are doing, but along with that, practice bhakti yoga. That is the point which is being spoken here. And we see many great kings of the past, while performing actions for universal management, kept their minds focused on the supreme. So many examples. When we take an example from scriptures, so many examples, so many kings, right? They attained perfection. We gave an example about Janak Maharaj in the previous slide, right? He attained perfection by connecting with Krishna rather than just performing an activity here. Prabhupada mentions in the purport, and I'm just covering only the highlight part, according to the empirical philosophers, simply by adopting sannyas or retiring from fruitive activities, one at once becomes as good as Narayan. This is the misconception people have. I will become God. When I read Bhagavad Gita, when I acquire knowledge, I'll become as good as God. No, that's not the proposition here. We learn how to be a better servant. A servant is a very lower term in material world, but it is considered to be very supreme in higher position, because we, at the end of the day, even in material, one or the other person, whether it is boss or family, right? And last one I just want to read. On the other hand, if someone takes to the transcendental service of the Lord, which is Krishna consciousness, even without discharging his prescribed duty, whatever he may be able to advance in the cause is accepted by the Lord, which is Buddhi Yoga. Which means even a slight performance of such a principle enables one to overcome great difficulties. Very beautiful example is Bharat Maharaj. Did I give an example about Bharat Maharaj before? So Bharat Maharaj is the person on whose name our country's name is Bharatvarsha. So he was a king. He renounced everything, went to the forest, and he's practicing bhakti yoga.
Is that, I thought it was Shantanu's son, right?
No, Shantanu's son was Bhishma, no, Mataji?
No, not Shantanu, sorry. Who is that? Forgetting the name. Yeah, Vishwamitra's daughter, the illegitimate daughter who's brought up, and then the king marries. Who's that? There's that story, Shakuntala's. Shakuntala's son is Dushyant father. Is it the king Dushyant? Yeah, Dushyant. So I thought Bharat is the son of Dushyant, and that's how Bharat they thinking.
That's a tricky question. I'll find that out. I'm not aware of that part. But the Bharat Maharaj, he was a king, and he left this his kingdom and went to the forest doing tapasya. And he was perfectly doing everything properly based on the principles. And he went to a much higher platform, on the platform of bhakti. One day what happened is, there was a deer, a mother deer, who was just eating the fruits and berries on the forest, in the forest where he was sitting. And all of a sudden the lion came and he roared. So she ran, and she delivered, or she had the baby delivered, and she died. So when Bharat Maharaj saw the small deer, any species, if you see a child, is very attractive, whether it's a cat or dog. So he says, who will take care of this deer? I should take care of it, because the lion will eat this small deer. So he started taking care of her, or taking care of him. Taking care of him is not a problem, but while taking care of him, he started sacrificing his spiritual life. Now, rather than focusing on Krishna, he left everything. He had a family. He left everything, came here, started thinking about, where did the deer go? Is he safe? Everything okay? I need to make sure. And he died in that consciousness. So what would happen for him in next life?
He will be a deer.
He will be a deer. Because law of last thought. But as a deer, but now there is another point, which is also the consciousness which you carried in your previous life, right? So he practiced bhakti. He remembered his previous life. What is a mistake he did, he remembered. So as a deer, what he was, he will not play with other deers. He would just, there was a hermitage of sages. He would just be around that hermitage and hear Krishna Katha from these sadhus. When he died, he took a birth of Jada Bharat. Jada means foolish. We want to become intelligent in this world, but Bharat Maharaj chose to become a foolish person because one benefit of foolish people is nobody will come and hang around with you. Which means you don't have waste of time. You are a foolish person for others. Great. It's a benediction for me. Nobody will waste my time. Oh, this happened here, politics happened. I can just continue my bhakti. So he practiced bhakti. His family, his brothers actually rejected him and took him out. So he was living in the forest, somehow, whatever is going, and practicing bhakti. And he perfected his life, went back to Godhead. Why did we give an example about Bharat Maharaj? Apparently, you also see a failure here from external perspective. But what is the destination for him? That whatever he accrued in his previous life, he carried forward from that stream to another stream, which is what the benefit of Bhakti Yoga is all about. So even if you do not perfect, you start from where you left off. But in Karma Yoga, if you do not perfect, you again start from where you left off. So you get a better birth. Great. Better birth, which means you have better facilities. Not necessarily you will take those as a benefit to actually continue forward. So one has to be very careful in understanding the purpose of life. Not that Bhakti Yoga is a it's not a, what do you call, the sure, it's definitely a sure short solution. You are not the loser. But if you want to attain the perfection of your life, you have to come to that platform of practicing with vigor. Making sense? Not making you feel nervous, is that right? Okay, thank you. Okay, cool. So we will read text 3, chapter 3, text 5. Nahi kaschit shanam api jatishtatya karma krit karyate hi avasa karma sarva prakriti jair gune. Translation, please. Please.
Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the moods of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment.
Very nice. Whenever we come and appear in the material world, we are covered by three modes of nature. What are those three modes? You mentioned sattva, which is goodness, passion, and ignorance. Everyone is covered or controlled by three modes of material nature. So a person who is in mode of passion, which means being active, like this is the case for Kshatriyas, they are very active. They have that administrative mentality. For Arjuna, if he goes to the forest, he has to practice in passion. But what is needed for being in the forest is mode of goodness. So until one comes to the mode of goodness, you cannot go to the forest, because what would happen is you will think about how do I do things. And what happens, not to quote, and you can figure it out with the example, I don't want to say the name. You see a lot of sannyasis, they take even orange robes, they attain that stage and they come back, open factories and some products. Yeah, become chief minister. Because the problem is that passion is there. I went on the path of goodness without sufficiently purifying. What happens is I will again come back and want to do that. And we gave an example about this also. Whose example we gave? Who saw the fishes mating? What is his name, Prabhu? You remember?
Ajamal,
What? Huh?
Ajamal, sir.
No, Mataji, not Ajamil. I quoted that example. I just forgot. Ajamil was a Brahmana. That's one example about Bhakti Yoga. Um, um, Saubari Muni. We gave an example about Saubari Muni. So what had happened is he was a king. He renounced. He went underwater performing tapasya. Of course, whatever mistake he did, he saw just two fishes mating. Now, if you see from normal human perspective, none of the human gets agitated when other species mate. Very interesting thing. And fishes are small. He got agitated. I want to enjoy. You left all that. You came here to do tapasya. Why you want to do it again? He went back in search of to get married. But because he was a sage, he was living in the water, his skin was not good. So when he went to the king said, "Hey, my daughter will not marry to you." Because of his tapasya, he transformed his body in a very beautiful prince. He created many palaces and he get married with many daughters of this king. Enjoyed, and after certain time he realized, what did I do? Where did I land up? This is a problem. And that's what Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita. Everyone is covered by modes of material nature, and if you are tied by that, you have to purify yourself. Otherwise, it's very difficult to practice that platform. Right? So, in this, what you see on the slide, sorry, I just went back. What you see on the slide, we are active in nature and we need an engagement. Either we when we talk about need and engagement, whether we practice everything in connection with God, every activity we perform, there is no loss even if there is a fall down, which we gave an example about. However, on the other side, if I'm doing accumulation duty for just taking care of my body, then there is a problem. So ultimately, when we come in contact with material nature, we acquired material modes, prescribed duty recommended in Shastra. So Kshatriyas are supposed to perform administrative work, Brahmanas are supposed to acquire knowledge. Similar way, we perform various activities. Like certain people are very good at business. They have Vaishya mentality. They know how to mint money. But there are certain people who just want, like I have that tendency. I want to do 9 to 5. I don't want to mess up and taking risk. So Shudra mentality. Not that Shudra is down, but that's my mentality. So I know what kind of work is best for me. And earlier astrological chart, they will see, and based on that, they will recommend what stream they should go in. Which is so scientific. Not today is not like that. It's all about how to earn money. And you see an example about who was that whose finger was asked as a charity. Is that Eklavya? Eklavya. Eklavya, he also came to Dronacharya to learn archery and he was very skillful. Better than Arjuna. And then he asked, "Are what Guru Dakshana, what did he ask? You give me the finger, with whatever is the important finger for archery." I don't know, I'm just a dumb guy. Ha, thumb, thank you. Why did he ask him? You may say, "Arey, this is cruel." He is not with the right mindset.
He wants Arjuna to be number one.
His mindset is because he is not Kshatriya. If he's come from Vaishya and Shudra, he will mix up that one. So, for an example, there is another this thing. Who is that? It's something in connection with Bhima. So this demon or this Rakshasa was very, very powerful. Mahabharat war is going on. So he was coming. He had one problem. Extremely powerful. He had blessings of Lord Shiva. Extremely powerful, but he had one problem. He took a vow, whichever side is losing, I'll play for them. So when Pandavas are losing, I'll fight for Pandavas, and when I see Kauravas fighting, I'll go for Kauravas. And Krishna knew it. This guy is very powerful. So before he is entering Mahabharat war, Krishna met him. "Sir, how are you?" "Great. Where are you going?" "Mahabharat." "Whom are you fighting for?" He said, "Whoever is loser party, I will go and fight for them." Krishna realized that this is not good. "Okay, I want to ask you something." Krishna disguised himself as a Brahmana. "Okay, what do you want?" He said, "I want your head to be chopped." Really? Now Brahmana asks, "What do I do?" That is called as Khatu Sham.
I've heard the name, but
Yeah, it's another thing. New God is coming.
You should give it, right?
So he said, "Okay, I understood you are Krishna. I will give you my life, but my head, I want to see Mahabharat war." Great.
head is placed on
Correct.
top of the mountain.
Oh, that
Correct.
is how that is placed.
So head is
I never
placed.
understood why they put that.
This is the thing. So he went on the top of mountain. He saw the whole Mahabharat war. And because he saw whole Mahabharat war, they asked him,
Who won the war?
who actually did, who played? And he says, "Krishna." तुमको लग रहा है, you are thinking that, oh, you are doing that, but actually it's Krishna who is doing that. This is a miracle. And when we have Krishna in our life, when he takes care of takes charge of our life, You will never be a loser. That's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not about being a performer. I was just listening this morning. You see, Hanuman, what a performer in Ram Leela. You see that? Oh, he's the hero of Ramayana, if you call me that way. Hero in so many aspects. When he comes to Mahabharata, where does he go? Flag.
The flag.
Are you are a performer. I am a performer. How can I be in the flag? Man, for a performer to give him a role to just keep quiet, difficult. You see in this world, I want to take over. That's not a real performer. Performer has to have a quality of humility. When you understand that aspect from a humility perspective, you perform when you're asked to perform. You speak when you're asked to speak. Very beautiful quality. Hanuman represents that. What a beautiful quality. So that's when Krishna takes the charge of our life. Krishna took charge of Arjuna's life. Victorious. When you add that K factor in your life will not be the same. You call it as when you read Bhagavad Gita, all that happens. Who is the hero of Bhagavad Gita? Krishna. He's entering in your life. When he's entering in your life, he will take care, he will make sure everything auspicious happen in your life. Krishna says to Arjuna, I land with this. Krishna says to Arjuna, Arjuna, go and tell the word, my devotee never perishes. Question for you. Krishna खुद बोल सकता ना, he could have told by himself that my devotee never perishes. Why did he tell Arjuna, you go and announce that my devotee never perishes? What do you think is the answer? You understood the question? Krishna could have told himself, right, my devotee never perishes. But he told Arjuna, you go and announce that my devotee never perishes. Why?
Confidence that Arjuna has in Krishna.
Okay, very other thoughts? Online also, you're welcome to join in. It's not that I'm just asking here. You're welcome to chime in whenever you want to add.
I'm thinking.
Please. Until that time, if you have answer, please chime in.
Yeah. Actually, he's a very smart guy, right? That's how I look at it. The whole thing, Krishna is like extremely smart guy, right? So some people, even in practice, they don't say what they want. They will ask someone else to do it, right?
Okay.
That could be one of
You
the
started very nicely, but there is an important point which you took a diversion from, and I want you to come.
I could not,
No problem, sir. Krishna is very manipulative.
Yeah, correct. I didn't want to say.
Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, of the cheater, I am the greatest cheater.
Because at every point, even Karna's death is also because of him.
Krishna said, I am not exactly. And if you see from moral ethics perspective, how did Karna got killed?
Yeah, because of the kavachas are gone. And also I think he puts the arrow which goes.
Simple. Don't go complex. You are there. Very simple. He didn't have any weapons. Based on the Shastriya principle, you are not supposed to attack a person who is not having a weapon.
He was trying to lift.
And Karna gave an argument same to Krishna. What did Krishna say? When Abhimanyu was there, he was without the weapon, guys.
You did not have, you watched that happen.
No, he killed him. He was the first one to kill him.
Krishna?
Yeah. Abhimanyu. Karna was the one who put the first stab. No, when you talk about morality, right, people just talk about one aspect of it. See, guys, see it holistically. Don't just take portion of it and start creating your own philosophy. So many manipulation, not for a wrong purpose. There is some which happened about Dronacharya's skill. Tell Ashwatthama is dead. So people may say, oh, this guy is manipulative. Arjuna is not manipulative. You go and tell that my devotee never perishes. And I bet you on that. My Krishna consciousness life is based on that principle. Being in this process for whatever 15 years, I have a firm faith his devotee never perishes. And anyone who has Krishna factor in their life, there is only thing which is there in your life is auspiciousness. And that's the reality. So that's why we have to learn how to love Krishna. What we really need, this philosophy is great. It's for the brain. What we need is a substance of heart. What is that substance of heart? Krishna, I want to know how to love you. And that's what the crux of bhakti is all about. Crux of bhakti, you ask the question, what is Krishna consciousness? If I have to say in a very layman term, being a lover of Krishna, falling in love with Krishna, that is Krishna consciousness. When you come to that platform, love is simple. There are no rules. There are no regulations there because everything is from the heart. When you do it with the mind and brain, then the rules applies. When you do the substance of heart, mother knows what my child will like. Even if child is sick, something is may not be good, but mother knows how that child will get nourishment because it's a matter of heart.